Hey guys, it's Kim here. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different to what we have on normal. We'll be reading and reacting to some shocking insurance stories brought to you by Reddit. So I'm joined today by Duo Insurance experts. We have Tong Ho and also Lawrence Young. Tong, how long have you been in the industry for?
I've been around since 2011.
Wow.
So I always think that I'm still in my early 20s. And then when I have to count on my fingers how old I am now, it shocks me all the time.
Do you come across any weird stories or any unusual scenarios now? Or have you basically crossed all scenarios or all potential outcomes?
There's always things to learn. I think there is the fundamentals that you learn and that you can carry across to every single situation. But there's always new situations that you come across.
And we also have Lawrence. Lawrence, tell the audience, what do you do? Who are you?
I'm Lawrence. I'm the relationship partner at Duo Insurance for the referral partners. I handle any situations that come around through them. So yeah.
Oh, have you guys heard of Reddit before? Are you on it?
I don't want to admit it, but yes.
I haven't really looked too much into it. A handful of times I've been on their websites, but that's about it.
Well, I'm still a hey Google, what's this generation? But this is all very new as well. So let's get into it, yeah?
Yeah?
All right, let's go. So the first story, AITA for changing the locks so my landlord can't enter. I, a 31-year-old male, have a breaking and entering charge from trying to enter my ex-girlfriend's place to take back some of the stuff she took when we were breaking up, like my bedding and CDs. She called the cops and I got unfairly charged and prosecuted. Because of this, I couldn't find a place to live, and I also have old DUIs, 3 years sober, but my insurance for any vehicle is insanely high to the point it's cheaper to use Ubers to get around. I needed a place near my work and it's been almost impossible to find. Finally, I found a woman who was renting out a basement suite, but she wanted a non-smoker and asked me 3 times. I said I didn't smoke because I was desperate for a place and I wouldn't smoke inside, but she came without giving me proper notice. She gave me 15 hours, not 24 hours notice, and saw the cigarette butts on the steps of the place. Well, since he was smoking outside. She freaked out and demanded I leave. I wanted to sign for a year, but she refused, only signing for 3 months because my credit was bad. She forced me to let her into my apartment to check for damage, even though I reassured her I didn't do any smoking inside. I did use my brother as a reference because I didn't have great luck with having a good relationship with previous landlords. She found out later he was my brother and threatened legal action for using a fake reference. But he wasn't fake. I did pay rent to him for a few years. She began checking up on the place every 2 weeks, claiming she was checking for damage, even though I said I would leave after my lease. Then I started seeing this girl I was interested in and we began dating after a few months. The landlord showed up to my place again to inspect the place and she and my girlfriend started talking and she told her I had a breaking and entering and DUI charge. No idea how she found out and my girlfriend has stopped talking to me because of it. I'm sure it's illegal for her to disclose my personal information like that and I've changed the locks to my place and refused to let her in. She has sent me a letter stating the eviction process, and I'm sure it will take them months to evict me. It will make it even harder for me to find a place to live in the future.
Firstly, I completely feel for him. I know that beginning that his ex-girlfriend stole from him. I think that at that point, maybe report it to the police before committing your own crimes.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like it's something from Australia, from the way that he's talking about it. With the smoking, I don't know if we can actually make that a requirement as that person is not a smoker. We can allow them not to smoke in the house or we can request them not to smoke in the house, but we can't say that that person can't smoke at all.
Is there something about landlords being allowed to enter tenants' homes, that frequency as well?
This is another thing with Australian laws, and if you have a tenancy agreement in place, you actually have to give the tenant notice before entering the property. But again, in this case, the lady was only renting out her basement. She's already living there, so I assume. So I'm not quite sure about that.
What if it was like in Australia, how you have like a granny flat though, and you rent out the granny flat?
Yep.
Then can you put conditions like, you've got a shared common area, which is usually the backyard, in some way?
So I know that a lot of real estate agents here, they want an exact divide. So at least have a little small fence up or something like that to signify that on the other side is what you're renting out. Any shared areas gets a little bit more complicated.
I guess from the lady's point of view, she might be the worst landlord, but it doesn't sound like she did a lot of due diligence either to make sure she had the best tenant in. Would you have any like tips for people who might be landlords out there who are thinking of renting or thinking of doing it themselves maybe?
Yeah, that's another thing. Tenant ledgers are very common in Australia, and you can request it before you lease that property out to someone else.
What's a tenant ledger?
So a tenant ledger is the date stamp and how much the tenant has paid for their previous tenancy or agreement. You can actually request that from either them or the previous real estate agent. So if you go through a real estate agent, 99% would have a tenant ledger for you.
In this case, the landlord, the tenant was living with his brother. Can you still get a tenant ledger for someone that's privately leasing as well?
So privately leasing, you don't have to have it, but what you can do instead, unless they're paying cash, you'll have bank statements.
Right. This landlord does sound a bit crazy. She's gone quite deep and personal with and digging personal information too. So.
Look, I think everyone has their own demons, so I don't want to comment on that too much. And I feel like maybe she has been burnt before, and that's why she's being a little bit more cautious. You know what though? This is probably a good story to say that landlords suffer a little bit too, you know? It's not all easy for them, you know?
You never know. This lady could be living on her own upstairs, and then she's got this guy and she sees him smoking outside on his balcony. She's like, what? What's going on?
There was actually another comment I read on Reddit.
Wow.
I know. It was someone saying that I just found out that my landlord is living on my paycheck to paycheck as well. So my paycheck is paying for two people. Not only am I living paycheck to paycheck, my landlord is living paycheck to paycheck.
Oh, gosh. Are we on to the next one?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Neighbour's landlord insurance won't pay my insurance for damage. Hi, my wife and I at a loss here and wanted to get some expertise. Back in February 24, on a really hot day, there was a fire caused by my neighbour's tenant. A kid was playing with a lighter and it got out of hand. However, Fire Rescue Victoria has deemed it not negligence. Now the fire has damaged my house as we are a rather close neighbour. On that day, I have called my insurance to let them know the situation, provided Fire Rescue Victoria's call number, and paid my insurance excess as I believed it will be recovered from my neighbour's insurance. By around June, July, our house has now been fixed and our insurance's recovery team is contacting our neighbour's landlords, insurance to recover the funds they have used to fix my house and my excess. This is the part where we need assistance. Now in September, the neighbour's insurance company's liability department is advising, as the fire was not caused by the landlord directly, that they will be refusing to pay my insurance and my excess back. They are using the greyness of the word liability. What are our next steps to recover our excess back? As we believe this is very unfair for us given this situation.
Yeah, look, it sounds really bad. The kid using the lighter. I put fire. Bit of fire by myself. But I feel for her because, you got the liability. I thought as soon as I heard it, straight up liability, they should be paying for it, the neighbour. But to hear the grey area in the liability, I feel is a bit unfair.
It's actually really, it's a really difficult topic.
Why is it difficult though? Wouldn't it be like an infinite, like this is liability or this isn't liability though? Like, shouldn't that be what it is?
Any time between the whatever happens to definitively it's your fault, it's a negotiation. So
But isn't the household, like this is a kid who lives in the house, so they're part of the household?
the liability itself, right? You have to prove someone is either at fault or is negligent. So did someone go, hey kid, I can't look after you at the moment. Here, play with this lighter. If that was the case, then that's pretty easy to prove that they were negligent, right?
What about the liability? Is there liability in content insurance? for the
Yeah,
tenant?
you're right. Yes. So if you have contents insurance, what you have is personal liability.
Yeah.
The
Oh,
only
yeah.
problem is
Is a kid considered a personal
that's
content?
right. Yeah, that's another problem that you face, right? So if you have a home and contents policy, say Kim, your insurance, then you have personal liability. So if you cause damage to someone else's property, then that liability comes into play. However, because he's a kid and he doesn't have insurance, again, that's
Doesn't all responsibility falls on their parents when they're 18, like in a general sense?
Yeah.
No, I mean, look, like that's really hard to kind of figure out, right? You'd have to go to court and get a judge to decide on that.
Yeah.
But majority of the time, I don't think any kid has malicious intent or negligence. So negligence, you'd have to have a responsibility. And as a kid, you wouldn't expect them to have responsibility or reasoning. So proving negligence on a kid is extremely difficult because they just haven't developed that reasoning yet. Some girls would argue guys haven't developed it in their 20s. So.
Or 40s. At all.
Yeah.
So there was a comment that says, how could the landlord insurance logically pay for the damage to the landlord's house? You would obviously have to go through the policy PDS in detail, but this seems like an attempt to just deny and see if it goes away. And the original poster said my exact thoughts too. When I called the landlord's insurance and spoke to the claims person, they kept quoting the grey wording of liability and gave example of what if a tree from the landlord's house falls down and damages my house? Should the landlord be responsible?
Yeah. That tree is a responsibility of the landlord, isn't it?
Again, we have to prove negligence. What that means is that if they knew the tree was about to fall over and they didn't do anything and it led to the tree falling over, that's negligence.
What if there was a storm and the tree was uprooted from your neighbor's house and it hit your house?
Well, that's no difference to if it's in your tree, in your backyard, hitting your house. The landlord didn't cause the storm, So, yeah, they're not responsible for the storm.
So then you got to fix your own
Correct. Yeah.
house.
Yeah.
And it's not your neighbor's
That's right. Yeah. So
liability.
Here's a story, right? Strata insurance, right? So I had a situation where one strata block, their whole roof got blown off and flew into another house. We tried to prove negligence against the first house, but because we didn't have enough information to say that this roof was falling apart beforehand, we were unsuccessful.
So then it's like you couldn't prove that the bolts went in securely enough or like...
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what happened was that the actual people who lived there saw the state of the roof, but they didn't bring it up with anyone. There was no record of it. There's no photos of it. So they couldn't say that, it was in a bad situation before and we told the owners to get it fixed.
So you got to be able to foresee it happening. And
Yeah, because if you can't see it happening, then how are you supposed to go in and fix it, right?
Yeah.
So what if this person saw the kid playing with the fire and then told the parents?
I mean, if you saw a kid playing with fire, maybe just jump in at that point, right? Yeah.
If this person was your client,
Yeah.
would you be pushing them to try and reclaim that excess and the
Honestly,
damages?
if they are doing something themselves, running a business, working or something like that, most of the time that is probably going to get them a better return for their entire life and like financial situation than try to tackle this this case, right? what would happen? Yeah, you're going to probably pay more in insurance premium for the next couple of years. But after 3 years, majority of the claims fall off, and then you're back to the same rate that you were previously.
Right, I didn't know that. So it's not about pointing fingers at, oh, you're the one to blame. It's about, hey, at least I had the insurance to protect
That's
my
right.
house from the beginning.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
I have another follow-up.
Yep.
To make it clear, the real estate agent has confirmed the renters did not have insurance, and I can see the landlord has been paid out by their landlord insurance from first party, even though the tenant has started the fire as evident, as they are now extending the house to have another room or some sort. And to be clear, I just want my excess back as I feel this is not caused by me.
So the landlord has claimed tenant damage.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Again, that's why it's important to have the correct insurance policy. If they had a home and contents policy, no cover. So tenant damage, you need landlord's insurance, which is really good. I don't know about that extra room thing. If they added an extra room, that means you're profiting off insurance. So I don't think that is correct. And if it is correct, I would say that the landlord has put in more money in order to get the extra room. And again, I can totally feel for that person. You see that person over there claiming on the landlord and then they get an extra room and the house value goes up. That can be very annoying.
And all you want is your $1,000
I know.
back.
They got an extra room. Why can't I get my $1,000 back? Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys, on to the next story.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So this one's around landlord insurance. We had a bad tenant who ended up losing her whole bond, but that didn't cover cleaning and the unpaid rent.
Great start. Great start.
We have landlord's insurance, but when I called to inquire about claiming, they told me that we aren't covered because we never reported to them that we had leased the place. Given that we've had the policy for over 2 years and the insurance company never contacted us for that info, do we have any recourse?
Landlord's insurance and you don't expect to have a tenant. That's pretty insane defense from the insurer.
Isn't there a clause about like you need to have tenants?
Yes.
How long is it?
It's 60 days.
So it's under the assumption that you would tell the insurance provider when you're not going to have tenants.
Correct. Yeah. I don't know if you're watching, Redditor, but please get in contact with us. We'd love to help you on that. Yeah. It's also crazy to think that an insurer that provides landlord insurance doesn't expect the landlord to have tenants. So that is a crazy, crazy defense.
There is a follow-up here from what she said. Obviously, I'll be going to a different insurer going forward, but I don't think I've ever come across this before. I don't think I've ever heard of an instance where you need to tell your insurance provider, I have land and tenants.
Bit insane.
Yeah.
Is it possible like she's getting confused between home insurance and landlord insurance?
Do you work in insurance? That is great. That is fantastic. I think that might be the issue, actually. I think that...
Are you being
you're
serious?
right, yeah.
That could be the
Are
issue.
you being serious
yeah.
or like I'm just like,
No,
I don't know if you're sarcastic or not now.
I think you might have hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
Because if it's home and contents insurance, they actually don't insure for tenant. Detective Kim, that was a great answer.
Well, I'm available anytime you guys need me. Just give us a call here. Cover your insurance and also detective work.
Yeah, I think that's might be it. I didn't even think of that actually. Go you, Kim.
But yeah, there's never a case, right, where you take up landlord insurance and you need to inform the insurance provider.
That's why we thought it was pretty insane for the insurer to use that defense. But the example you're given, if you were living in that house, is a totally different wording. It protects you as the homeowner and occupier.
Yeah,
It doesn't
exactly.
protect you to put someone else in. Yeah. We have clients asking us for home and contents policy before, and we have to go through that question with them.
So have you had people who say, oh, I want insurance, and then they say home and contents, but they actually mean landlord insurance? Did you?
Yeah. First question I ask them, are you having tenants? So immediately, as soon as they say yes or no, I know whether it's going to be landlord or home.
Now I'm questioning how this person even got the insurance. Unless they're doing it like online, click, 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 click.
And especially if it's your first home or something like that, you feel like it's home and contents insurance. You know, you don't know these other terms.
Yeah, that's right. Like I wouldn't know what the difference between home and contents and landlord insurance. I thought landlord insurance was an add-on that you buy as part of home and contents for the purpose of landlord insurance. Until Lawrence,
I know.
Yes.
told me the other day.
We're all learning.
fantastic. I've got a follow-up here.
Mhm.
One of the comments was, I'll call the insurance ombudsman and report back what they say. Would that do anything?
If it was the first scenario that the insurer was providing landlord's insurance, they would probably get somewhere. But if it's the scenario that you were suggesting, that they purchased the wrong policy in the first place, there's nothing that they can do.
There's no like, oh, that's okay. Tap on the back.
Yeah,
No?
Not really.
Pretty cutthroat?
yeah. The financial ombudsman, or it's known as AFCA now. What happens is that you present your case to AFCA, and then the insurer will present their case. AFCA will go away, deliberate, I guess, and then they will come back with their reasoning. And usually their reasoning is final. You can take it to court after that. However, majority of the time, because they're the peak body already, it's going to be based on that decision.
And if this person read their product disclosure statement when they got the policy, would they have found out, oh, wait, give me a second. This doesn't cover landlord insurance. Or is it every policy is kind of generic and they have the same PDS in it?
PDSs is essentially a contract. No two PDSs are alike. So you'd have to read through each one of them to see what they actually cover. They would have seen that the occupancy type would have been owner occupied. But for them to understand that, to read through the PDS, it might be a little bit difficult. There's a lot of jargon, and it's written in a specific way that is contractually binding, but it's not easy. It's not like a book that you can read.
If you're not familiar with taking out insurance, do it with somebody that knows what they're doing. This could have been solved if she just called Lawrence.
The problem would have been solved if Lawrence just asked her, are you renting it out or are you living there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Ready for the next one now?
Yes.
So this story is coming from a tenant's perspective. AITA for telling our landlord about his daughter's plan. So I live in an apartment with two other people, one of which is the daughter of a landlord. Let's say her name's Hannah. She is moving to another apartment that is closer to her university on the 1st of May. The landlord already has another tenant that will move in on the 1st of May that we already met and who we like. So far, no problems. I had a conversation with Hannah this weekend and she told me she is planning to take most of the furniture in the living room and most kitchen stuff with her, including the TV, the couch, plates, cutleries, and kitchen appliances. I didn't ask or say anything then, and maybe I should have. The thing is that my other roommate and I pay a little more rent for an apartment with fully furnished living room and kitchen. This is on paper on the rental agreement. So yesterday I emailed our landlord and politely asked what his ideas are about the furniture. If he would replace things, if we should do it ourselves, but we would be compensated. Or rent lowered, and just generally what would happen. Today, Hannah came up to me very angry because I went behind her back and tattled on her to her father. Apparently, her dad forbade her from taking the stuff she wanted to. Now she could only take the stuff from her bedroom and a couple of small things from the living room or the kitchen. She is mad I didn't talk to her because I went behind her back. We could have come to an agreement and I ruined her move because she couldn't afford a lot of furniture. I feel like I maybe should have talked to her, but I mostly feel like I have an agreement with the landlord, her dad, and not her. And I don't want to be involved in their business. And should I have done things differently?
I'll let you handle this one.
Me? Yeah. I actually love these scenarios, not going to lie.
I'm just going to say a very entitled child there.
Yeah. And I mean, you're not going to avoid them, you know. If you avoid them, like you avoid like half or if not more than half the population. So are you the asshole? No. You've done everything correctly, but could you have handled it better? Definitely.
Yeah.
There's always better ways to handle it, especially if you've spoken to her in the first place. she might been able to talk to her father and negotiate a better rental income for you anyway.
But it doesn't sound like her and Hannah are like friends or anything. So it doesn't sound like she'd be losing anything either.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then they're having another tenant move in though. So the other tenant is going to be signing a lease agreement with a fully furnished kitchen and
Correct.
living room too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what would an insurance policy look like for that when one person is actually your child? Like,
It actually does cause a lot of issues with your insurance policy
Mm.
because most policies will exclude any damage from you or immediate family members. Yeah.
even though the family member is a tenant?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So it depends on the policy. Please read your PDS.
that's a good clause.
Yeah. So
know.
very easy one for the insurer to say, hey, sorry, Yeah.
Wow.
It's understandable, I guess.
But then in that case, then what if you had like your child and like two other roomies in this scenario? Would that mean then you need to take out two policies?
Well, no, you just have to pick a policy that would suit that scenario. So not all policies will exclude family member damage. And if they're considered a tenant and they don't have that clause, it's perfectly fine. Yeah.
Ah.
So in the case where like this landlord and this tenant did sign the agreement for a house with furniture, so does that mean if the daughter did get away with her master plan, like
Is this
Would
this is similar to the first story where the ex-wife stole all his stuff, right?
hey,
Yeah. So that's pretty much the scenario, right? Yeah.
but they didn't get away with it.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So then would the landlord then have to buy new furniture and replace everything because it's part of the agreement?
Yeah. There's again many options that you can take at that point. So some extremely malicious ways that you could go is you don't pay rent at all because the landlord hasn't met the agreement.
What?
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah.
Mm.
Of course, the courts will probably say, come on, you got to pay a little bit. What's the reasonable amount to pay an unfurnished property? And they'll probably have to pay that rate. Yeah.
Mm.
Wow. I don't know why, but the image of the Sims popped up
Mhm.
with the angry Sims with the house unfurnished and they're trying to sit down, but there's no chair. And they're like, "Argh!"
I get the feeling that you're the type of Sims player who creates a pool and then removes the ladder.
I have done that. I won't lie. That's the only way you can create a graveyard.
Oh my God.
It's the easiest
Are these
and
all
quickest way.
personal stories?
Look, there's a reason why they was very similar. All right, guys, so on to our last story now. I got locked out of my apartment for more than a month. Strata management won't replace key fobs. I own an apartment. The strata manager issued me 2 remote fobs to get building access, lift access and garage access. I kept 1 fob in a safe place as a spare and used 1 fob regularly. Both fobs stopped working at the same time. Even though the spare fob had plenty of battery left, I could not get into the building, lifts, or the garage. I paid for the batteries in the main fob to be replaced, which didn't help. Still broken or still not working. I repeatedly asked the strata management for help and several times they said they'd fix the problem. The fobs continued to not work. I ordered replacement fobs. Strata management have not even been able to give me an ETA for when the fobs will arrive. I've been using the fire escape stairs to get to my apartment every time, since the fire escape unlocks with my physical key. This is not accessible. If I was in a wheelchair, I'd be completely stuck. If I call strata management out of standard business hours while stuck in my car and asked to be let into my own garage, they've told me I get to choose between paying $500 to call the garage service or paying $80 to call security. Do I have any legal ways to escalate the issue? And I just want to replace my fobs.
Imagine buying a house, your dream house or your dream unit or whatever.
Mm.
And then just because some technology is broken, you no longer have access to it anymore.
Would this be something that you can bring up to a strata meeting?
I know that technically they should do it really quickly for you. The committee shouldn't be accepting this, but I also know that that's like someone else's problem. You know, it hasn't affected anyone else personally other than yourself. So you feel like you're fighting against everyone. I don't know what the strategies can be, but you want to make it their problem. Yeah.
I would be like wanting to get the strata management company out of there ASAP if they come and do the management of strata properly and get
That's
me my
right.
fob.
A lot of the time, like similar to us, how if we were to approach any situation, we would try to get the other person to understand how we're feeling. You know, even though that the strata manager, it might be their job, you still might want to say, hey, look, come on, guys, you know, I haven't had access to my house for a month. Like, could you imagine walking 10 flights of stairs every single day? All I really want is just to have access to my house again, please. And that might be a little bit more effective than like yelling at them. At the end of the day, even though a lot of people don't feel like their stride managers on their side, the other side is still a human being. And as humans, we want to help.
Very compassionate response there.
Thank you. Thank
Oh,
you.
wow.
I try my best. You know.
Coming from you, Tom?
Me?
Oh.
Wow.
What about the legal aspect of it? As in, like, you haven't had access to your house for a month.
Yeah. So they'll have a service level agreement saying that they'll respond in X amount of time. Yeah. And I would say key fobs would be an item on there.
I remember when I lost my fobs that time, it did cost me a bit. I think it was like $200 or something like that, $300. So if there was 2 fobs, would you just get it replaced with insurance? Like, is there a way
You can.
claim?
So most strata policies have a replacing keys situation, but it has to be from an event.
Maliciously, I just...
Not like I lost it. Sorry.
You're giving me ideas here.
But yeah, as a lot owner, you're really just living there. You don't really own the strata. So you're kind of at the beck and call of the committee and also the strata manager.
Worst case scenario, this person bought into a apartment block. I know you're on this...
Yeah.
You're playing devil's
Who's
advocate.
oh, okay.
But let's just say
Yeah.
that it's a bad strata management company.
Yep.
Is there a way for, you know, a potential apartment owner to vet strata management before they buy into the lots?
I know for a fact that majority of the strata managers are actually genuinely good people because they're the ones in the front line dealing with people all the time. I know that a lot of strata managers start their own business because they feel like the lot owners deserve more care and service. And it normally starts off like that until everyone figures out they're a good strata manager and there's so many people come to them and it gets to a point where they can't control it anymore. And that's where you get the slower responses and things like that. I can't say that I've met a bad strata manager per se, but I do know there's other ones out there that is a little bit more greedier and things like that. So it really depends, number one, on what you want from the strata management company. And then number two, you know, even if they're a good one, will they have time for you? That's probably the most important one.
Is there a report or something or some sort of a place that you can see the reviews or ratings of strata management companies?
If you go to someone and then everyone goes to them, no matter how good they were, they're not going to be as good eventually. So I think it's more important to look at your strata management agreement that you have with them and make sure that the terms on there are what you expect and what you allow for. If they don't meet that, then you can bring them up on those points and then they will come back to you. In terms of like research, I would say that anything that you read online are all negative, unfortunately. Yeah. But it's not entirely their fault. When a strata manager does something good, they're not going to exactly get a 5-star from the lot owner. And when they do something bad, they're not going to get only 1 review that's 1 star. They're most likely going to get like 20 reviews that is 1 star. So if
That's
something
true,
really
yeah.
bad that happens, yeah.
What if this person is going up the fire escape because they can't use the lifts and they injure themselves?
This actually brings us all the way back to the negligence question earlier that we spoke about, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So if they weren't notified of the fob and this person was walking up the stairs, then there's no negligence that have been established. However, this person has requested a new fob for a whole month already. And now if they get injured from then on, we can bring it all the way back to the responsibility of whoever they told. So it could be either the strata management company or the committee or whoever is responsible for providing a new fob.
When I used to live in an apartment, my lift would always break and I'd have to use the fire escape. What if I fell or if I injured myself during that time?
Strata policies in general would have public liability, which covers for any personal injury or property damage that is caused. But in this scenario, it's less about the public liability and more about professional indemnity, because the strata management company is supposed to be replacing those fobs for you, not that the lift is broken.
Different type of liability.
Yeah.
Ooh, that great word.
I'll give you another example with the lifts. I had an instance where there was rainwater inside the lifts. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Yeah.
What the?
So the lift actually broke. So they went to claim on the insurance, but the insurer came back to the strata and saying that, hey, no, it's actually maintenance related. You should have maintained the lifts. How did you let the water get into it like this? The insurer tried to deny it based on that situation, but we were able to prove that we were actively maintaining the lift because we could show the maintenance agreement with the lift company.
Yeah.
So we were able to overturn that claim, and that was a significant.
That's a good outcome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a really significant claim, actually. Yeah.
So what if they were notified?
If they were notified and they didn't fix it themselves, then it would be on the strata to pay for it out of pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really hope that lady does get her keys because I have gone up flights of stairs with full grocery shopping and it ain't fun. So
But
yeah.
should have some great quads though.
Oh, talk about the guns too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, groceries, man. Hey, free gym, right? Yeah. But no, seriously, I hope you get your fob.
Yeah. Well, guys, that does bring us to the end. I hope you guys can give us feedback. What did you think? Comment. Tell us if you would like to see more of this type of content on this site as well. I think the most important key takeaway from a lot of these is the right insurance really matters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you get the right insurance, you won't have to make it on our videos.
And if you're watching this video for the first time and you realize that either Tong or Lawrence here will be able to help you with your insurance needs, please give us a call, drop us an email on our details, and they will be in contact. Well, guys, that's it. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys stay tuned for the next series. And remember, if you did enjoy content like this, to like and subscribe to our channel. See you.